Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Fat Jocks, everyone. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks so much for being here. Thanks so much for doing what you do. If you like the show, God damn it, go over to Apple Podcasts, give us a 5-star review, and write a rating. I just ate a bunch of hot dogs at 7:30 in the morning, so I'm trying to remember how to talk by this point. If you got any questions, send them over to fatjockspod@gmail.com. Yeah, I don't understand how these people do these things, but Brian, who are these people? What do you got?
On the pod today, we have the number 5 and 6 ranked competitive eaters in the world. They're an engaged couple named Miki and Nicky, and they are unbelievable at what they do. We get a nice scoop on the world of competitive eating, the other characters involved, the terminology, and then at the very end, Bruce and I have our own hot dog eating competition in which they coach us through it. Enjoy the show. I'm going to eat a whole hot dog for a intro.
Personal foul, 69, offense. He was giving them the business.
This fat son of a bitch. He's fat.
Hey, I'm just here so I don't get fouled.
He's fat.
Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
He's fat.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
I couldn't care less about this.
Because me and Brian are both stand-up comedians, and like the more that I've read into competitive eating, I feel a very weird kindred thing with competitive eaters. It's like we kind of just following it all, and it doesn't really matter. It's all just it's every weekend wherever. It's very interesting.
Yeah, you're like, what am I eating this weekend?
Yeah.
All right.
Kind of like it's a similar act, so to speak. It's just like, all right, the venue may be different, or the sponsors may be different, and you have your favorites, and then your places where, it may not be your favorites, but you still go because you enjoy some of the people. So yeah, it's I imagine there's some similarities.
So it's like a circuit. So like, is it like the same circuit roughly each year?
As far as events go, yeah. They'll add and lose sponsors, but there's like a baseline of sponsors that come back year to year.
Yeah, it's not like as consistent as say like a PGA Tour where like TPC of Sawgrass is coming up, whatever. Like you have your Nathans that'll go on every year. Like poutine, for example, you can virtually guarantee will go on every year outside of like obscure COVID years and stuff. You have your pretty consistent ones, like tamales. And then you have your ones that kind of jump in for a few years, and depending on how the sponsor digs it, they stick around or they kind of fall off.
Yeah, I think some of the contests are because we're tied to a lot of like festivals and outdoor events. It kind of just depends on who's in charge of the entertainment for the festival for that year. So, I mean, if it's up for contract renewal, I don't know.
What's up with the hosts always dressing like it's the 1920s, like with the
Yeah, I got way into that dude. I can't remember his name, but the Nathan's guy that wears the straw hat, I've become a big fan of over the last week.
But so it's whoever other ones too.
It's whoever the MC usually is will wear like the voter. So that's it's usually George Shea or Rich Shea, two brothers that run MLE. Occasionally it's Sam Barclay. You might hear him at some. He's the one with the awesome Australian accent.
Yes,
Sam is super cool. But yeah, it's just part of the gig. I imagine it's like Vince McMahon coming down in a suit. Strutting down to the ring in a suit ridiculously. It's all just part of the gig, but it's awesome. When you see Sam or Rich or George and you hear that voice and you see the voter, it's kind of like, all right, it's time to go to work.
Yeah.
Game time.
They fly the Shea, which, by the way, the Shea brothers are like the Buffer brothers.
Yeah, they run the whole thing. I love it.
Do they get flown around to different? They're not just Coney Island.
Yeah, no, they're everywhere.
Yeah, they'll do the events across the country.
Yeah, George Sam does a lot of the traveling ones, and George and Rich because they're New York based. But it kind of depends, and I imagine there are certain sponsors that kind of want, George or Rich or Sam, or they may have relationships with them. So it kind of depends on the event.
Or the scope of the event, they'll require all three of them.
Yeah, if it's a bigger event like a Hooters or the ones I just did in like Vegas, still all three of them will be there. So.
What did you just do in Vegas?
That was the
DraftKings red carpet.
Oh, that was the hard-boiled eggs.
That was the hard-boiled egg.
I'm caught up.
The three-part event with the gallon soda chug, and then the 50 hard-boiled eggs, and then the popcorn.
Yeah. Okay.
So different days, right?
No, because I only did the hard-boiled eggs. It wasn't like a sweet mother of God.
Yeah, like a triathlon.
Gauntlet style marathon.
No, that would be terrible. No. It would be cool to do that maybe over the course of a day or a couple days. Because it would definitely wear you out. It takes a toll. But yeah, I just did the eggs that given day. So just 50 easy hard-boiled eggs.
Just did the eggs and proposed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. You guys just got engaged, and so right, you pounded. For those who aren't caught up on Major League eating, Nick ate 50 hard-boiled eggs in 3 minutes, and then still had the frame of mind to propose.
Yes, it was. I kind of had planned the whole thing out. There were two events going on the same day. There was the sweet corn eating championship in West Palm Beach, which is obviously pretty close to us, and then there was the DraftKings event going on in Vegas. And I had originally planned on trying to propose around like an April, May, June event. I got a call about the Vegas event, so I decided to go. But then the problem became, she was like, "Oh, you could just go. I'll just stay home with the dog." And I was like, "You need to go.
Yeah,
you need to come with me to the event. I love you so much."
Your support. I don't think I could even.
So like go have fun with everybody. Take some time off. Relax in Vegas, do a contest, just because I'm pregnant and can't compete doesn't mean, I had no idea. He completely caught me off guard with the proposal.
Yeah, even to the point where if you watch on because the video's still online, I start proposing and it feels like I have like a grapefruit in my throat, and it wasn't the 50 eggs.
I was going to say it was just an egg.
I started like kind of breaking up and getting emotional. So I'm like trying to hold it together, and she's looking at me like, "Dude, hold it together. It's an egg." I'm mad with you.
I'm just like, I know we've had a lot of ups and downs in the last month, and maybe it's just getting to you.
Yeah,
but you need to hold it together.
She thought I was upset because I was winning an egg contest, and I'm like, I'm trying not to break down, and finally you actually hear her say like, "Oh, this is real." This is very real. It was, but the words muttered out. I probably, I managed to keep the eggs down while I was proposing. So it was all good. It was cool.
Let me ask you this: at the wedding, are you going to shove the entire cake down her throat?
We probably could, but the crazy part is, outside of our competitive lives, people are always like, "Oh, how do you,
Yeah, I don't imagine you wake up with a couple dogs every morning. I imagine.
No. It's like our because we have to be in like a calorie deficit most days, because obviously right now she's just eating for the baby and the health of the baby. But normally when in competitive years, or for me right now, you have to be in a deficit because once out of every, let's say 7 to 14 days, there's going to be caloric anarchy.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of account for that in the budget.
Right. Yeah. When you watch the way they break down the science, like when ESPN does those videos on how do they do it, they focus directly on the stomach. And I'm like, what about like diabetes and hypertension and stuff? Like, that's like, how does your body process those nutrients safely?
Nick, you do seem like the go-to person to ask about this, because you eat a million hot dogs and you're absolutely shredded. So it is a very, very yin and yang going on.
Yeah, thank you. It's some of this is like my leftovers from my competitive bodybuilding days. So, but it's one of those things where I tell everybody you have to treat it like a financial, just like a budget. If you were gonna take a vacation to Fiji, as long as you budgeted for that vacation, it's not gonna kill you. It's not gonna bankrupt you. Or even a vacation to Florida or whatever, let's say. But if you don't, that's when you have a problem. So I know for me, to maintain my body weight at right around 200, I can eat like 3,500 calories a day with my workouts and stuff and maintain. So week's end, just to make the super not boring, let's say it's 25,000 calories roughly. If I do hot dog practice or a moon pie practice or whatever and eat 15,000 calories in a day, I need to only budget 10,000 over the next like 6-ish days, to maintain that body weight, or the 3 before, the 3 after, however you're going to do it. That sucks sometimes, but it's kind of just like a job hazard of how you do it. And as far as like the diabetes or whatever, or people like, what are the health side effects? Well, I don't drink and I don't smoke and I exercise 5 to 6 days a week. And I maintain a good body composition. There's never going to be a study done on competitive eaters, but I would argue like that is probably better for you than maintaining a really shitty body composition 365 days a year.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
take that as an offense. I'm offended by what
as two people who keep a shitty body 365 days a year. How dare you?
No idea how hard this job is to keep this lumpy body.
So then kind of just probably a question you get asked a lot. How did you realize, like, what was the moment when you were like, hey, this is probably something I can get into? Or like, did you grow up being like, oh, maybe I could also do that?
No, I definitely didn't idolize competitive eaters or, I really, honestly, I didn't know that competitive eating as a sport or as a competitive, I don't know, activity was a thing. I knew that I could eat a lot. From my first year in college, I had a limited dining plan where I could only swipe into the cafeteria.
Oh, yeah.
So I kind of, when I was there, I was like, okay, this is kind of, I have to do breakfast and lunch and maybe like grab a snack for, I don't know. I had to make it count when I swiped into the cafeteria. But it wasn't until years later that I realized you could actually earn money by eating big bowls of pho or eating stupid, huge burgers and stuff like that. So yeah, I did a 12-pound bowl of pho and ended up on a billboard in Las Vegas and got a lot of attention for it. Here we are.
The classic story.
Yeah.
Wait.
I can actually
You glossed over that.
Yeah, you did.
How did you get the 12-pound? Was it gallons or pounds? What'd you say?
It was a large bowl of Vietnamese noodle soup. So with the noodles, the broth, the meat, the vegetables, it came out to about 12 pounds. And that challenge was undefeated. A bunch of my friends had gone in and tried it. It's like a man versus food type thing. And the progressive jackpot was up to $1,500. And I just said, I think I could do that. And when I did, the restaurant made a big deal of it. And actually part of the prize package was they were going to put you on a billboard off the Las Vegas Strip. It's like one of their advertisement things. And so I got $1,500. I was on a billboard and all of a sudden I got requests to do more food challenges in the area. And I just figured, why not?
Yeah, I just remember because I watched a lot of your guys' stuff, and I just remember that I saw either a picture of or a video of you with the check, and the owners of the restaurant look furious. They were like, we thought nobody could do this, and now you've ruined our advertising forever.
And nobody had done it because they also banned professionals, and they use the term professional really loosely. If you've ever done like a backyard pie eating contest, as an 8-year-old, you are disqualified as a professional. So they searched my name and nothing came up because I had never been part of a competitive eating world. And so they very reluctantly paid out. I want to say like 4 days after I did it, they finally like cut the check. But yeah.
Yeah.
It's very funny to be in like almost contract talks with a Vietnamese restaurant, like going back and forth. What about you, Nick? When did you go from eating just chicken and brown rice to a million hot dogs?
Well, I ate like a hot dog and I was put in a Hollywood movie, and it was much less exciting. It was after my competitive bodybuilding days. I kind of realized that I couldn't do competitive bodybuilding forever because it was kind of taking its toll on me, and I had 2 kids and it becomes inherently selfish towards the end. And I kind of felt, I loved bodybuilding, but I hated how I felt like all the time. So one of my buddies like, hey, maybe you should try this punchki eating contest, like those Polish jelly donuts that come out around Fat Tuesday. And I'm like, dude, no, I'm not doing that, because he was joking because I would always eat copious amounts of food. And he's like, you can win $200 and they're raising money for charity, and you get free donuts. I'm like, that doesn't sound so bad.
No.
So I went over and I kind of handily won and beat everybody. I ate a bunch of the donuts. And I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. And a few months later, I entered the White Hot Cheeseburger Eating Championship, which has an amateur and a professional division in around Springfield, Mass. And I thought I entered the amateur division. And I got there, they're like, no, you're with the professionals. Like, but I'm not a professional. They're like, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. You sign up for the professionals. And there were 16 people on stage, and I ended up placing 5th. And the professional division is just like a goober bodybuilder that waddled himself on stage eating burgers.
Oh, that must be infuriating for everybody you beat.
Yeah.
But everyone was super welcoming. Like, that's where I met like Badlands Booker. Everyone knows as Badlands Chugs. And Jeff Esper was ranked 2nd in the world. And when I got 5th, Jeff kind of came over to me and he's like, hey, you may think about trying this, and I was like, oh, okay, fine. And then it kind of just stumbled out of control to the point where I realized, I think the way we would both put it is like, we didn't find competitive eating or search it out. It kind of found us. Like,
Yeah.
it finds people. It's like if you were 7 feet tall, you're probably going to get a scholarship to play basketball.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure.
This is all very similar to stand-up comedy. It's very wild, where it's like you do it once and you're pretty good, and someone's like, hey, keep doing this thing. And then now you do it for the free food.
Right.
Did you, as a stand-up comic, ever deal with stage fright? Because I can tell you, like, in my first head-to-head competition, I had to have a friend walk me into the venue because I felt so out of place. I was so nervous. I was literally shaking. But once I not only competed, but actually won the event, I'm like, I own this stage. It's mine.
100%.
I belong here more than any guy, blah, blah, blah. So
That's what happens after you do well at stand-up comedy for the very first time, is you're like, I'm the best there's ever
I'm the
been.
best ever.
And then you spend the next 10 years chasing that feeling.
For me, I'm always been more nervous with those meet and greets after. When everybody is in a crowd and I'm in front of them, they're like one person. It doesn't matter. But when I have to meet them after the show, I'm always like, God, I'm such a dweeb.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, Miki, it's kind of crazy that you have stage fright, because if you YouTube you are flashing that belt around. Like,
oh yeah,
straight up like Rick.
Yeah,
Flair.
no, I don't get stage fright anymore. I just my first contest, I felt so out of place because it was a contest, but not just a man versus food type challenge, but where you're competing against other people. The field was predominantly guys who also happened to talk up a big game, and
And you should have all of them. And I just like stormed out of there, like, suck it, losers.
Yeah, I mean, I just imagine you standing next to Badlands and just him being like, you don't belong here. It's just a little girl. It's just like,
Badlands has been like, he's a one-person welcoming committee.
Yeah. I would say, like, Badlands Booker, Eric, he's one of those few people you meet in your life that is inherently good. Like, he's one of the best human beings, maybe the best human being I've ever met in my life, to where I can honestly look at him and be like, you're a better person than me.
It's very fun. Yeah, it's like, because I've been watching a lot of the videos. It's like how you guys are all like friends and like all that. It's cool to see. It's just, there's different communities that exist. I don't know. It's very interesting to me, all this, I guess, niche world of professional stuff.
Most of us get along really, really well. Obviously, there's some people that are oil and water, in what we do, which I imagine is similar to stand-up comedy. There's your Joe Rogan, Carlos Mencias. Yeah. But like, it's definitely, for the most part, pretty cordial amongst us. You rub some people the wrong way when you take, we take what we do seriously. We don't lose the ridiculousness of what we do. We understand, like, we're getting paid to eat hot dogs or poutine. But at the same point, it's like, I'm there to kick ass and make money, and have fun, and enjoy Toronto or Salt Lake City or whatever. There's people who are there just to go, and that's cool, and probably get shithoused for a couple days. And that's cool, man, if that's what you want to do. But understand, when I beat your ass on stage, don't be upset about it. Like, I'm just, I don't party with you the night before. It's because I'm planning on taking your check the next day.
Yeah, you're in the hotel room. You're in the hotel room jump roping while they're out partying. No, it seems like I don't know. I imagine the sport has kind of evolved from a point of more, I guess, you're like Babe Ruth type people, where it's like you're just getting shithoused and eating and whatever. Where now it's a lot of people like you guys who take it very serious and talk about caloric deficit and talk about like all those different things, like almost down to a science.
I feel like at my age, I'm 36 years old. Kobayashi was the first guy on my radar. I feel like he kind of mainstreamed your sport. Am I wrong about that?
No. He showed up and the record I think was 25, and he hit like 49 or 45 or something. Hot dogs, and that kind of it went from being like what people saw as here's my chubby uncle that eats a bunch at the barbecue could be to like, holy shit, what did we just have? What just it became like a superhuman feat. You know,
a lot more methodical and thought out.
It was so it was no longer like you said the Babe Ruth of the sport and all that stuff. All of a sudden you had somebody that came in and just laid everything out, you know, how he did it, the groundwork for I'm going to crush every record put in front of me, basically. And he really put everything on the map. And then Joey, of course, came shortly thereafter and just took the bar and was like, that's cute. I'm like, you know.
I got to give you guys credit, though. Out of all the videos I've watched of you guys and Joey, you guys sweat significantly less than Joey. Joey is a water spigot. I mean,
I think I've heard him say I'm a professional sweater, which is disgusting.
I thought the same thing because I saw one of the videos where Joey finishes and then he hugs somebody, and I'd be like, Jesus, Joey, come on with the sweat.
Why he doesn't dip the buns in water? He can just rub them on his face.
Was Kobayashi the first? I'm curious because you guys both do does everybody do the water dunk with the bun? Is that like across the board kind of a given by now?
In order to eat, to get them down quickly, you have to.
Some of the girls may not that are putting up the lower end numbers. I don't know, but for the most part, it's just the bun's a drink. It's just a chaser is all it is for those hot dogs. Like if I find myself chewing the bun in a practice or in a contest, like it's a bad day. I'm having it's not a good day at the office.
Right.
Yeah, I was explaining to my girlfriend about the bun thing, and I was like, you basically take the bun and turn it into a matzo ball, and then just kind of finish the dogs while you're doing the entire thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I try to get the texture so that I'm not chewing anything for those whole 10 minutes. So I bite and sever hot dogs and swallow those like 2 by 2 and swallow the buns, like you said, like matzo balls or something.
2 by 2?
Yeah.
The two dogs.
Yeah, exactly. So it's 2 by 2. It sounds a lot more adorable than it actually really is.
Like you bite it into like thirds or quarters or whatever, and just try to like basically kink it and swallow smaller chunks because.
Like if you have 2 hot dogs here, you have them side by side. So you just kind of bite and then swallow these pieces, and then bite, swallow these pieces, and then these pieces are gone. So I don't know if that makes sense, but
are there any women who come close to you right now? In the
I mean, on the women's stage, they have in years past. I kind of let 2019 get a little bit closer than I wanted to. It was my lowest year ever. I don't know, but you know, this year should be pretty interesting. I think it'll be closer than ever between Michelle Lesko and Sarah Reinecke if they both compete. I don't know what that's going to look like, but
because they went to play baseball. Like
there's going to be an interim. There's going to be an interim champion for this year for the girls.
Oh yeah, huh?
Yeah.
So it just hit me that you're not in it this year.
Yeah,
wow. Yeah, because
I will be. Time like
I needed to place higher in competition, so I'm like, I just kind of hard.
Oh man, yeah, I can't even imagine. Oh man, if Nick moves up, if they they don't touch the rankings. MLE.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah. This is
you might be next.
Yeah, this is the ultimate career move, what you've done here, Nick.
The ultimate WWE storyline. Move up.
So is Nathan? Do all of the contests do a men and women's, or is it only Nathan's?
No, that's the only contest where men and women compete separately. But with that said, like, I mean, Joey puts up superhuman numbers, but on like, you know, the mortals realm, I did pretty well. Last year at 48.5 in 10 minutes. Because I was watching that one, that would have been second if it was an overall thing. Yeah, exactly. So the women's contest obviously not as competitive, but it's getting more so. And
I think it's becoming more and more. Yeah, you're going to get more and more competitive women like Sarah Reinke, Laurel, Michelle Lesko. Michelle's been around for a long time doing this. Sarah's a little bit newer and up and coming. It should, and they see that title is open. It makes people, for lack of a better term, hungry, to push. So I'd be excited to see the women's contest, to see where the numbers are going to be. And then knowing in 2022, you have like the triumphant stomping return.
Oh yeah. It's huge.
So, yeah, it'll be cool.
It's kind of sad. Like, I think you can see off of Nick's shoulder.
Oh, I see him. Here we go.
There. Yeah, I'm just a little bit sad that there's going to be a gap in all of them.
Yeah,
they're all there.
None of which are mine. So.
Do you know how often if I had all of those at my disposal, I would at least once a week get drunk and have all of them on. Just walk around with all of them on.
Are you going to Publix in like a grocery store and be like, "What's up? What's going on?" Yeah.
Are you going to take your baby and get him in milk drinking contests?
He would probably kick ass at that. But no, we said, because I have a son and a daughter as well, and I like the rules for all my children will be no bodybuilding and no competitive eating. You can do whatever the hell you want to do.
It's literally like football and stand-up comedy. It's like you will not do what I do.
Right, exactly. Like, you could do whatever you want.
Just not that.
You could be one of those people on House Hunters, like he's a professional booger eater, and their budget's $1 million.
Yeah, it's
whatever. Just not this.
Yeah, you don't need to go do one-night shows in Wenatchee, Washington. You need to stay home and be nice.
That's funny because that's exactly how your kid's going to rebel. Your kid's going to be going to Pizza Hut buffets and eating 46 slices.
Yeah, we'll be getting calls from like the school, like, "Oh, we have a funny story today. Your son ate 15 personal pan pizzas from the other children." Like, "Oh, great!"
And you owe us $100 because he ate all the lunches. Oh man, yeah, it's man. I feel like I have a million questions.
What in the circuit generally each year? It's okay. So poutine, I'm assuming, is in Canada, right?
Toronto. Yep.
And that's like a big one. Is that up there with Nathan's?
It's awesome. Nathan's is kind of on a league of its own, so to speak. It's kind of like our Super Bowl or World Series or whatever you want to call it. Our Iditarod, but it's there as far as the other one's poutine is you call it 1A or like level 2, yeah.
Yeah.
You could get like an ESPN to cover poutine. I think it would be just as big.
Yeah.
And it's just as fun with a super enthusiastic crowd.
Yeah, and Ryan Smokin, who owns Smokes Poutineery and runs the whole event, is one of the coolest. Like, you dig him, he's a flannel guy. The whole thing is like flannel.
Hell yeah.
He's one of the most enthusiastic characters you will ever meet. Like, and again, a genuinely nice guy. And you think it's fake at first, the enthusiasm, because everything's like rock and roll and this and that and brother. And then you talk to him for a couple of days, you're like, no, this is Ryan. He's an adult child in the best way. Like, genius businessman, adult child. Yeah.
So what food has wrecked you the most? Like, what one of you walked away and been like, Jesus Christ?
Wait, I don't know. Remember, does one come to mind? I'm sure there's been stuff.
Like, I can't imagine. I imagine that eating, I think whatever 9 or 10 pounds of kimchi is a little bit harder than hot dogs.
Bad. That was such a fun contest, especially because Sonia Thomas, the Black Widow, was the kind of the former women's champion before I came along, and she, especially being of Korean descent, or actually being 100% Korean, I think she really wanted to win that contest, and she wasn't a fan of mine. So that was a fun contest to win. I don't remember anything being unpleasant, but ice cream was top afterwards. I have to hold the world record for that. It was just over 2 gallons in 6 minutes. Yeah. And I was freezing cold. I was kind of concerned for my organs. I don't know. But that wasn't super pleasant. I just needed to down some hot coffee.
Yeah. What was the brain freeze like after the ice cream? How'd you power through the brain freeze?
I don't remember brain freeze really being an issue. I think just my core temperature dropped. So even in like the Indiana summer, I was shivering and uncomfortable. But yeah.
It's certain foods like at home challenges, stuff we filmed for YouTube has been rough. Like I did, it was roughly like a 13-pound bowl of Lucky Charms. So we actually
I saw the kiddie pool full of Lucky Charms.
Yeah, it was a reef holder from Lowe's because there were no bowls big enough to hold it. So it's 3 of the giant sized boxes, and no one had ever done that, and they were on clearance. So I'm like, this is a good idea. It was so far from magically delicious. It was idiotic, and it was just that's close to as bad as I felt after consuming something. Just that amount of marshmallow and cereal and sugar. My body was not thrilled.
Just
General
sweets
Mills?
in general can be tough.
Sweets are rough.
Do you get General Mills? Do you call them and be like, yo, I'm about to go on YouTube. I have, 50,000 subscribers and I'm about to eat the shit out of your cereal. Do you want to send me a couple bucks?
That would be a General Mills sponsorship would definitely be welcome.
They do Cinnamon Toast Crunch? Yeah, they do.
No.
Yeah.
That would be a good
amazing
one for like 5 minutes.
This sounds like a great idea.
You can actually see it in some of our videos. Like we'll be talking in the beginning and she'll be like, so how do you feel? I'm like, oh, good. These are good.
This is a great idea.
Minute 45, she'll be like, oh, you're almost done. And I just kind of look up and look down the bowl like, don't talk to me. Go away. It's
don't look at me.
The nature of it.
Yeah. So, I mean, without getting into, because we put out a thing for, I guess, fan questions of what they wanted to know. And a lot of it was, you ever taken the biggest dump you ever took in your life? But it's, without getting into those kind of details, what is like the day after a competition like for, like, what is like your wind down?
Sleepy.
Depends on the contest.
Yeah, it depends on the event. I think that's why I really like chicken wings and ribs because debris foods don't fill you up. So you feel fine afterwards.
Did you say did you say debris foods?
What am I thinking of? Not
like technique foods.
Technique foods.
Yeah.
Debris foods?
I mean, they're not high debris amounts, but basically, like for chicken wings, for example, when we did like the Hooters Wing Eating Championship, they give us like a 20-pound bowl filled with a whole boatload of wings, and they do it by displacement. And then they weigh how many wings that would be. So, for example, I beat her there. I ate 223 and she ate 214, I think. But that's probably only, if I had to guess, like 6-7 pounds, probably like 7 pounds.
Yeah. What I'm saying is like, for a contest where
I see.
The following day is typically fine. I don't know, maybe dehydrated.
Yeah, especially with like wings or ribs, just the sodium. But if you eat like in Toronto, I ate like 17 pounds of poutine. She ate like 21 and beat my ass. But that next day is rough because I mean, between the two of us, we're walking around with 40 pounds of food. And that takes a long time to process and a lot of fluid to get the sodium out. So we're just kind of sitting on opposite sides of the hotel, like, you do you.
I would be surprised if you don't even show with the pregnancy.
Yeah, so I will see. I still have 9 weeks to go. But I think 48 and a half hot dogs was bigger than this.
Yeah. So I told you nervous about the birth, and I'm like, how many women have given birth in the history of time? Like billions, right? Yes. How many women have eaten 48 and a half hot dogs? One. Nothing to be nervous about.
Yeah. If only the baby grew in the stomach, I think you'd be.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Man. Well, there was another. Oh, fuck. Oh, you want to go to those fan questions?
Oh, yeah. Just kind of. A little bit was kind of the lead up and the lead down. Are you eating in the morning of a competition? Are you eating anything?
Typically not. But I think that's more for me. It's more of a mental thing. I like to go in thinking that I'm hungry and have every, square inch available real estate. I don't know. Does it make a huge difference? Probably not. But
yeah, I mean, you wouldn't want to eat anything large, obviously. For me, it depends. If it's a capacity contest, like a poutine where you're going to fill up, then I'll probably be solid food fasted for like 24 hours. If it's more like a wings or ribs, I may have like a granola bar, like a protein bar, like a Gatorade in the morning, just so I have more energy, or if it's late in the day, because you also don't want to, like last year at Coney, for example, just between doing media segments and all that stuff, I was fasting probably 36 or more hours by the time I got to the stage. And the last 3-4 minutes of the contest was like watching the grass grow, watching me eat. Like I was just like, I could feel myself going slower, and I'm like, oh, time to pick up the pace. And my body was just thinking like, that's adorable. but I am not going to because I'm exhausted. So,
is there any kind of PED testing involved with competitive?
No, thank God. No, generally there's no, not at least not that I know of. I don't think because for us, people always ask like, could you smoke or something before?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That you hit. Some people are probably like hitting a weed pen, and then they're like,
I
"Oh,
was
now
thinking
I'm ready
some
to."
kind of anti-vomiting medicine or something.
Oh yeah, that may be a good one for some people. But like as far as like smoking before a contest, the problem is you'd have no sense of urgency. You're just like, man, these moon pies are awesome, and just be slowly consuming them, like asking for more. But as far as like I mean, maybe there are people that do like, but no, most of that we know where the limits are. I guess I imagine it's like a mixed martial artist who's in an armbar and he kind of feels that elbow starting to go. He knows right about when he should probably tap or that thing's gonna pop. The amateur is like, I'm fine, pop.
Now, when you say pop, has anything ever popped?
Not for me. No. Not personally. Like every once in a while, I'll get really bad cramps. So I'll be dehydrated after a contest.
Oh, I thought you meant reversing.
Oh no, I've never. Yeah, nothing's ever revisited for me on stage. Usually that happens again, like the qualifiers with like amateurs who are just talking all this mess. Like, I'm gonna go up there and eat like 30 hot dogs, and then around like hot dog 7 and go.
Yeah.
So,
In college, I worked at a pizza place in Santa Barbara that had a 8-pound calzone. And it was kind of the same thing where people would come in and talk all this shit and be like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And they would always throw up. And the owner would always be like, okay, now you clean it up, to the guy who threw up. And then I had a neighbor, my neighbor Lamont was like, he was from Boston. He just thick accent. He's like, I could fucking do this. I don't give a fuck. And then we literally had to take him home in like a wheelchair. Then he ate half of it. And then we had to go back to my apartment and get like this random wheelchair that we would sit in sometimes to wheel him home.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think people don't realize anything done, like she's 5th in the world, I'm 6th. And again, we get it. Like I'm not Aaron Rodgers or something like that, but it's anything done in an elite level like that high, people don't realize the level of which it's done. A lot of general people, because we get people all the time, they're like, oh bro, I could bury you in a pancake eating contest. And I want to be like, how much money do you have? And I would love to just the worst like NBA you could take. I don't say the worst, but if you took Michael Doliak now, retired, and put him against 3 people, he's probably going to win in a game of 3-on-1, like or Mark Madsen or something like that. Like people make fun of the guy, but he was good enough to make a 12-man Lakers roster. So even with us, it's like you don't. If they are 21 pounds of poutine, that sounds like a lot of food. You can't even begin to fathom until it's sitting in front of you and you actually have to eat it. So,
the way people believe in themselves is constantly shocking. It happens in stand-up all the time too, where they're like, I've been thinking about doing it. I feel like I could do it, or I feel like I could.
But it's kind of probably very similar to your guys' thing, because whenever me and Brian were both in LA, we hosted an open mic at a comedy club, and it was good, and it was like really there was we would have like 100+ people in the crowd, but it was always people would come in. I'm never done it. Hey, I'm the best that's ever fucking been talking shit. And then all the comics who have been doing it for a long time go up and everyone's just like, here we go. Let's see it. And then they bomb and everyone's like, yeah. Like, it's like you do not belong.
Oh God.
Yeah, that's I get it's like the Joker when he tries to do comedy.
100%.
Yeah. That's I imagine it's a lot like that. They're on what I used to refer to when I was a diet coach, diet training programs is Mount Stupid. When you're first starting something and you think like, oh, I know everything about this. I'm going to dominate. And then but you go down, they've done studies, people like masters and doctorates, they don't think they know anything. They think they know very little about it.
Yeah,
those
absolutely.
beginners a lot of the time know everything about it. They're going to dominate. So
yeah, some of the best comedians I know are some of the most unconfident people in the entire world.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say is, do you guys ever think about getting into diet coaching, like coaching up and comers? Kind of.
For competitive, I'm like, he does diet.
I do that actually.
Like,
I do that. But like as far as competitive eating, no, I don't, because I don't. if I thought somebody was going to like hurt themselves or something with what they were doing, I would advise against it and try to give them like redirect. But like much like bodybuilding, even when I did that and coached competitors, typically a lot of my coaching, my favorite, or not my favorite, but a lot of my coaching was damage control. Like you probably don't want to do this and talking people out of competing, because I'm like, if you enjoy eating, go do restaurant challenges, go do this, go do that. But understand, again, anything done at an elite level will take a level of dedication and probably more than you realize. So I would probably never coach anybody into competitive eating, just because I would guess that 99 out of 100 times it's not for you.
Right. So I want to see a billboard though. It says Miki and Nicky teach you how to eat 12 pounds of ice cream.
Show you. I'd be happy to. We put up videos of like, see, we did it. Now you see what we did.
Yeah, I feel like everybody watching be like, "Oh, I don't think I can do that."
That'll be the like chapter 1. Watch us do ridiculous shit, and then by chapter 2 is like, did you leave? Perfect. At the end of the book.
Is there
I would.
Is there like a stomach, like is it just a natural gift? Like, is there just like some people have different stomachs, or is it something you can learn how to do if you really wanted to?
He thinks my torso is shaped differently or something. I'm pregnant and fat. I'm pregnant and fat.
So I'm 5'10". She's like 5'6", and she's as tall as I am sitting down.
I don't know.
Okay, so like obviously her torso is a little bit longer than an average person who's 5'6". Right. But with that said, and even when she eats, when we were debuting, she would look pregnant. I'm like, it looks like you ate with your uterus. Like, I don't know how. And even if you watch Kobayashi, it was the same thing. His stomach seemed to sit very low, just.
I never get full like up here where your stomach should be.
I look like a ninja turtle when I'm full, just like bursting up here against my rib cage. So there's a level of that, like
probably
like Joey's like waist is a little wider. So I think there's a level of genetic predisposition, and then there's a level of work that goes into it to be trained into eating faster and dealing with flavor and eating more food. Just like anything, like you can't teach LeBron James being 6'8", 260. You can't. That's there. But that being said, if he never played basketball and he was just a CPA, he would just be a huge jack CPA.
Yeah. So I think this is kind of a fun experiment with me being pregnant, obviously being away from competitive eating for about a year. I'm excited. I think I'm going to be able to jump right back into competition and do pretty well. So, I mean, maybe there is some sort of genetic predisposition. It's not like, practice or something built over time. I don't know.
Yeah, it's probably a combination of both, like nature and nurture, so to speak. Yeah. Like, but we'll, it's hard to say.
Walking down the street, you go, that guy could probably play basketball. Can you spot an eater?
No, because like most of the time, the people who think you can eat are the heavy set people that nosh all day. They don't eat a big amounts at like one time. They just pick and pick and pick and pick and pick. So their stomach typically never has to hugely expand, the actual organ of the stomach, because it's just kind of digesting all day and moving foods along. And then you see those people, everyone knows the person who's like probably thin or average weight, like, oh, they eat so much and they don't gain weight. I wish I had your genetics. Mm-hmm. What happens is they only eat like once a day and they eat like 2,000 calories in that one time a day, and they're at maintenance. It's not magic. They don't have crazy genetics. They don't have some, usually, generally speaking, they don't have some hyperactive thyroid. They just happen to consume it all at one time. So it looks like they eat way more than your average person. Like if I hear one more person say to me over the course, over the last 13 years, she's heard people like, oh, I wish I had your genetics. Yeah, go to my family reunion. See that gem of genetics. It's not a bunch of me walking around with long hair and stuff. It's very average, and everything is calculated, for a while to a psychotic degree for me.
Right. Yeah, that's the same with me. If you go to like a family reunion of mine, you'd be like, damn, you're beautiful.
Me and my girlfriend were watching, we were just kind of watching some stuff last night. And Miki, we were watching you in the most recent one, the COVID one. And she was like, the Nathan one. She was like, because you were so far ahead. But we both agreed that it took such a high level of maturity for you to be like, I want to eat as many dogs as I can instead of, because in my mind, I was like, I would just stay too ahead and comfortable. And I would be like doing the worm, and I would be like kissing my muscles and like banging on the plexiglass. That's whenever I realized that this was not for me, is that you just kept pounding away instead of staying 2 or 3 ahead and showboating the entire time.
I think there were a couple of things that went into that. One, I had my worst year ever in 2019. I still won, but I only ate 31 hot dogs, which is like, I should be at 31, like around 5.5 minutes.
Yeah, around 6 minutes.
Yeah. So I really took a dip in 2019. So I feel like not only did I need to bounce back, I also hadn't broken the women's record to that point. The women's world record was 45 in 10 minutes. That was set before I started competing. So I wasn't there. I'm sure it was completely legitimate, but it wasn't mine. That's all I knew.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. Drama.
It was bullshit.
I don't think so. But you know, whatever. It's neither here nor there. It whatever. That was the official world record. So I'm like, you know, I need to make that mine. So yeah, not only did I need to bounce back from 2019, I feel like that record is something that I should finally hold. So
yeah, she should have beaten the record 7 years ago, is what she's saying. And then finally, she got sick of me bitching at her, like, that's your fucking record. Get the shit together. Yeah. You know, and she went out and she probably didn't want to listen to it on the drive home. She's like, fuck it. So I'm breaking the record. Listen to it.
Also, I don't know, with COVID and everything being on lockdown, it was just fun to have like another goal to work towards.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. I gotta admit, the hardest ones for me to watch is the ice cream eating, because the way you guys squeeze the ice cream sandwich makes me want to hurl.
That yeah.
I was watching Joey do it.
Yeah, some people squeeze the ice cream sandwiches too, because then some of it can magically disappear onto the ground.
I was gonna say you can get a lot of it on your hands and maybe get a few extra.
Yeah, that's where like Gideon, who competes with us, who's the 6'8" Nigerian cat. It works really well for him because he's got like hands the size of dinner plates and banana fingers. Yeah. So like if he's got it on his hands, there's like 15 ice cream sandwiches there. But there's some people who will do that, one, because it breaks it up. There's less chewing. We call it hand chewing with anything. But it's hard with some foods to do that, because then you'll have to take time to get it all off your hands. But the ice cream sandwich is one. I haven't been fortunate enough to do one of those contests, but yeah, having seen those, they're what we would call a debris contest.
Yeah, though actually the only year that I did it, they were like deep frozen. They were like bricks. So I don't. Yeah. So the hand chewing year probably wasn't the year that I got to do that. But anyway, but yeah.
Do you guys get like what is it? Somebody had asked this in the like TMJ, like almost like a lockjaw type thing after some of these contests, like as far as being like sore, or is it basically like any other muscle where you're just gonna work it out enough that after a while it's not gonna?
Yeah, I think because we've done it for so long, you know, it's like it's a repeated bout effect. You know, you kind of have done it, so you're used to it. I haven't noticed even if I start getting tired chewing, it's probably because I'm dehydrated or just a bit fasted for too long, or I'm just tired. But usually it almost never happens. There's some contests like pepperoni rolls coming up in West Virginia in a couple weeks. Those are harder to chew. You know, so a lot more goes in that, or like a pizza contest typically, but your jaw should not get tired.
We tried eating granola bars at home.
Oh, that was expired granola bars. And then,
it's just never.
I say you guys love the clearance rack. You're talking about the clearance Lucky Charms of expired granola bars.
Yeah, the expired granola bars. We decided for granola bar day, which is apparently a thing, to try to eat a bunch of them against each other, and it felt like somebody punched me in the face. It was so rough. Which is probably why I beat her, because she's got the common sense to be like, F this, I'm just going to slow down. I'm like, no, I can't lose.
Yeah.
You know, so.
I was going to ask, what are the goals for 2021? Or, well, I guess when you're back in action, like as far as like, what records do you want to set? What foods are you eyeballing?
Well, I feel like at this point, you're just smashing your own records.
No, I've got, still a lot of work to do. I mean, obviously healthy baby, but I can't wait to get back to the table.
No, not the baby. I'm talking about eating.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to be on the calendar. So far, we've got
tamales and pork roll the same day.
Oh,
so.
yeah. So it'd be great if, depending on how things turn out in New York, if Buffalo Wing Fest could come back over Labor Day weekend. That's always a great event.
Yeah.
That's one where they have like the buffet bowl, the first to finish 5 pounds, and then the wing eating contest the following day. That's always a good crowd.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, basically I just want to compete and travel, and I'm missing out right now.
Is there food
right now it's always
that you're eyeball? Is there food you haven't tried yet that you're eyeballing though?
Contest wise?
I mean, I'd love if they did like, sushi. Even if it was like, white hat, that would be fun. Like a food that doesn't exist or something.
Sushi would be fun because it wouldn't be messy.
I'd love to do like bowls of like noodles. They do that a lot in Japan, just like bowls of ramen or something. But yeah, that stuff like that doesn't happen over here. I don't know. I
would like cookie dough to do a raw cookie dough because I know people are gonna get grossed out, and I can eat that all day.
Yeah, I feel like that's the last challenge ever that Nick ever competes in, cookie dough.
Anyone who's scanned our social media may have seen. She actually put a picture up of me in the car. It was a day that I was kind of just eating what I wanted. It periodically happens. And I'm literally sitting there with a tube of cookie dough in my hand, like a lollipop, peeling it while driving, and just eating the tube of cookie dough. But
he should hold that record.
But yeah, it's I don't know. For me, it's Nate with pep rolls coming up, and Jeff Esper and Joey Chestnut will be there. They're 1 and 2 in the world. But you go into every contest to win. So I'd like to show up, and I've beaten Joey in the contest before. I'd like to beat Jeff.
What'd you beat Joey in?
I beat Joey in the Halloween Candy Bowl, candy in Vegas.
Joey is your thing.
Yeah, to an extent. I guess I do relatively well. I do relatively well with foods that are more difficult to eat and non-capacity foods that aren't really going to fill you up completely.
He did particularly well in that one because, like, one of the levels was to eat a bowl of M&Ms, which was just like, he's like, oh, this is like swallowing
pills. Pills. I was in my bodybuilding days, my tackle box of pills.
I was gonna say, you are from Connecticut, dude. You're like, let's do a pill eating contest.
Yeah, they're like, can I just say this? Yeah, they're looking at him and they're like, you can't swallow those like pills. I'm like, the fuck I can't. Watch me do it. And like, that's probably the first time in a contest where I've outpaced Jeff Esper for like an entire minute. He's just sitting over there chewing. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? So it was that one was good. And then but like for Nathan's coming up, my first year Nathan's I got 10th, my second year I got 6th, and my third year I got 3rd. And I don't plan on not moving up again. So like the goal this year would be 2nd. I'm not disillusioned to think I'm gonna take that title from Chestnut, but you never know. Like eventually you get to the point where the old dog still can't go. He's putting miles on, so it's like I would like to go take 2nd handily. And because nobody really expects it. You have great eaters like Matt Stoney and Darren Breeden and Jeff Esper. And those people are all my friends. When it comes to the stage, like, F them for 10 minutes. I don't even know you for those 10 minutes before we go take 2nd.
Yeah. What's it like competing against Joey? Because back to the Babe Ruth thing. He's like the guy. And he's just a machine. It's just like it's crazy to see. And he's such just a normal looking guy. And then it's like if you saw him in public, you would be like, oh, there's no way. Like then you turn around and he's like the best to ever do what he does. It's crazy.
No, he's a fucking asshole. Joey's a good dude. I'm just kidding. In all seriousness, like I was just texting Chestnut the other day. He's Joey's a good dude, and he is. He's basically undoubtedly the best to do what we do, depending on what the food is. But he's probably the best to ever do it overall. So it's the first couple times I competed, it was like, holy shit, this guy's gonna beat my ass. But at this point, it's like I'm beating you now. So that's not to say it's out of the realm of possibility. Again, it's loud eating next to Chestnut.
Yeah, it's loud and it's messy. I think they should just keep the plexiglass up from now on, just around Joey while he's kind of mosh pitting in the thing.
Maybe a guy with a squeegee like next to him. But no, it's you respect his ability, but when George or Rich or Sam say, go or whatever, I don't care who you are. I've said this before, you could be Joey Chestnut, or you could be her, or you could be my grandmother. I am there to beat you for 6 to 8 or 10 or 12 minutes. I don't know you.
Yeah.
So after that, we could be friends again. So it's cool, and you respect his ability, but at the same point, he's just another competitor once they say go.
Yeah, that's how you got to look at it. You got to walk in there. This is fucking war.
Yeah, yeah. But too, like when guys go play like Mike Trout right now in the major leagues, or guys are watching Ken Griffey Jr. play, it was probably like, holy shit, man, you know, like this guy can play. But at the same point, if you treat it like that, he's gonna beat the brakes off you. Like you don't stand a chance.
Yeah. That's what people do with Canelo. They're beaten before they walk in.
Yeah. Mickey, my girlfriend is also a stand-up comedian, and it's kind of very similar thing where it's like it is kind of a boys club kind of thing. So she wanted me to ask you, what do you like going forward? Do you see like them ever, I guess, integrating the Nathan's thing, or like, do you feel like if anybody can push that to them doing that, is that something that you think you can do?
Oh, God.
Get them to let you level up.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we've talked about this. I feel like no matter what I say, I'm gonna make some enemies. No, I have to say, like, of course, I appreciate that the women have, I guess, their own stage or their own contest and this, that, and the other. So while that is the format, okay, so I'll just make it more about me taking a step back. Like, I would have no problem. I don't need to come in first place in the women's. I have no problem fighting for first or second or third in a mixed event. So I guess I don't feel like any person, like I don't feel necessary to keep them separated only so that I can have a first place finish, right?
I also feel like you don't have much more room for belts in your place. You're gonna be.
Yeah. So I don't ever want people to think like, oh, she just wants them to be separated so that she can get first place. So that's not the case. If they were to integrate them, it's cool because I'm competing against a more competitive field. How they structure the prize money, like that would have to be figured out because. You know, I don't know.
Do you combine both purses and all that?
But also, what do you have, a field of 40 people? No. Right. At which point say you combine the men and women, and now that
I was going to say, I'm sorry, Nikki. I don't want you to destroy your home, please.
My good shaker.
And this is where I'm going to be less popular. But like, if you were to combine the men and the women's contest and combine those purses, I have no problem pooling the talent. But what's going to happen is, you can't have a 40 person field. You're going to cut half of it, right? To keep this existing 20 person field. You're going to run out of women competing, and that's going to piss off a lot of people.
There's probably going to be realistically 2 to 3 at the table. If you integrated the contest, it's a better opportunity for exposure, I suppose, and placing and prize money for 85% of the girls, or probably 95% of the girls, to have the contest separated. So that it's kind of like a double-edged sword, depending on what you do.
So I think it just comes down to like what Nathan's and what ESPN and what Major League Eating want to highlight.
Yeah, it's interesting that that's the only contest that seemingly is separated, and the rest of it, as far as like the MLE stuff goes, is kind of all together. Everybody kind of going at it.
Yeah. I guess I would just like to see women across the board, not be afraid to get better and put up higher numbers so that, it wouldn't be an issue. If we just took the 20 best people eating hot dogs, there would be more women.
I think, there's
participating.
There's still probably more of a negative connotation with women doing it than men doing it. Like as dumb as that sounds, they probably get more pushback, or they do get more pushback than we do. So you would hope more women, if they did integrate it, or whether they integrated it or not, took that step back and went, fuck you, I don't really care what you think about me eating hot dogs or whatever. I'm going to train and I'm going to kick ass, instead of saying like, I'm going to kick ass and be the best woman to do this, or the best person to do this. It's like, I'm going to beat everybody. I don't give a shit, man, woman, dentist, or pit bull, or otherwise. I'm going to kick your ass. So,
Has there ever been has anybody ever, like, I don't know, this is probably more old timey circus stuff, but has anybody ever brought like a bear in? And then,
to like compete against an animal?
Kobe ate against the bear on a game show or something like that. They separated them, and shocking, the bear won.
Yeah.
So it was, he did that. we thought it would be cool to get like different people from different walks of life and compete against them. They're like really good at what they do, you know, like if it was like LeBron James and his wife, like I'll go play basketball with you for a day. Now you try to come eat hot dogs for 10 minutes or something like that. We thought that'd be pretty cool.
That'd be great.
What was it like whenever you went to like kind of when you basically, I guess, told your parents, hey, this is the hobby? Because I feel like a lot of these questions are very similar to stand-up comedy questions where it's like, what was it like when you were like, hey, this thing that I've been doing as a hobby is what I'm now going to pursue full-time and this is my career?
I don't know if I had that conversation, but I will say that like my grandma and my dad are super supportive.
Yeah.
Like they'll watch the live streams and follow up on the, you know, they'll watch like other competitive eaters YouTube channels to see like who I'm competing against. So I'm a lot more supportive than I think people might have assumed.
Yeah, mine was a little different because when I started doing it, my dad was just like, "What, buddy?" Because I remember I'd been doing the bodybuilding thing, and you know, he thought that was ridiculous. I think he was probably more concerned than anything, you know. And then I did this, and so when I started telling people like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do this competitive eating thing. I'm gonna qualify for Nathan's," I remember my buddy Rob. He was like, "Dude, can't you ever just like do something as a hobby? Don't you?" Oh, fuck that. No, everything is like downshift, like rip the e-brake off and go. So I think everyone looked at it as kind of a joke and very much like, oh, this will wear off. Until I was on ESPN on the 4th of July. Everyone's like, and then all of a sudden you start getting these messages. "Oh, bro, I'm so proud of you.
I always believed in you."
Yeah, like I always knew you could do it. Like I haven't talked to you in 3 years. You know what I'm doing this. So it's
you aren't touching my big check.
Yeah, exactly.
You leave my styrofoam check alone.
Yeah.
Do they pay you in those giant checks, those novelty checks?
Oh yeah.
We have a couple.
We have a couple hanging on the wall up there and stuff from like bratwursts and those are that bratwurst is my first novelty check. So I'm like, oh god, I gotta take this home. I'm like protecting it on the plane like an idiot. But
that's legitimately a goal of mine in life is to get a big check.
Like Happy Gilmore with the car.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You got to take it to a big bank. What is it? We'll wrap up very shortly. Because you guys do a lot of these eating challenges, and it's always so funny to see these videos whenever you go to these restaurants, and it's like, just like, because I was watching, what was the one that you did, the pizza taco last night, and it's just like these women coming up and be like, "Oh, that's a lot of food you got there. What do you think?" Or there was one, Mickey, where you ate, I think it was whenever you ate the big steaks and these like,
oh, the guy in the blue shirt.
Yeah, the cowboys were coming over like, "I just want to shake your hand." And that was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
When I watched the steak eating one, there was this man with a mustache and a blue shirt, and because you do the fast forwarding, you can kind of see him. He's just been staring at you for like
hovering the whole time.
Yeah. Well, then he finally gets the nerve to come up and just straight up hover right over you. You made that guy's night.
Yeah, it's there's definitely different reactions. Usually, if we go in some place, I'm like, "Oh, we're gonna try the whatever burger, the Godzilla burger, or whatever it's named at the given place." They're like, "Oh, you're gonna eat it?" I'm like, "Nah, she is." And that's when they typically take a step back. They expect somebody that looks like me to come in and fail, but she comes in and puts it away in like 2 seconds. And that's usually when you get the round of, I finish a burger and she'll be editing your video and I'll finish a burger and people will be like, "Yeah, good job, asshole." She'll finish a burger in like standing ovation. It's like Hogan's music just hit in 1992.
Yeah.
There's 70,000 people kissing babies. It's like signing autographs.
Whenever people, because I keep bringing this back to stand-up, but it's like whenever people ask, like in a taxi or on an airplane or whatever, what you do for a living, a lot of comedians just try to give them the most boring answer so they'll stop asking questions.
What do you say?
I've said usually I say I do digital marketing or something like along the lines of that, because a lot of people will just be like, "Yeah, all right, whatever." Do you guys go with competitive eater?
No, I mean, at least not to the degree. Like, there's some people who will make sure everybody in the room knows.
100%. Yeah.
900th in the world.
Yeah.
They need to announce to everybody that they do competitive
Look,
eating.
have you ever heard of the Saskatchewan, Indian taco eating contest?
Yeah, I got the record.
I got third place in that.
No, so not to that degree. I don't know. I think it depends on my mood. Because some people are some people you can tell that they're going to get a kick out of it, like in a very polite, respectful way.
A lot of times, like the Uber drivers and the Lyft drivers, but most of the time I'll just be, because my day job, my Clark Kent, so to speak, is I'm a retail manager. So like most of the time I'll just go with that, I train clients I do diet and training programs. So there's I'm just a retail manager. Oh, okay, and that can be a whole nother conversation. In itself, if they ask what store do you manage? A couple superstore, and then that goes one direction or the other too. But it's you avoid it probably 8 times out of 10.
I've definitely brought it up to police officers when I felt like I was going to get a speeding ticket.
Yeah, you're like, watch. I have 9 granola bars. I'll eat them in 2 minutes for no ticket. Check this out.
I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with the area. I'm only here for a pepperoni roll eating contest and a little lost. And then it just the conversation goes elsewhere. Not like I'm going 5 miles over. But for the most part, it's just, no.
Yeah, you redirect because, especially there are times after a contest, maybe you didn't place well, and you're sitting there you might still have debris on you, and you're in the contest shirt, and they're like, oh, where's that shirt from? It's from nowhere, bro.
It's from Goodwill. I'm homeless. Please just leave me alone.
It came with the pizza stains. All right, just keep driving.
Well, we were going to wrap this up by asking you guys to referee us through our own hot dog eating contest.
Oh, yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And we've got some right here. Whoa.
We had some.
They're not super balanced.
Okay. Wait, there's one screen that we can't see.
No. You just need those two.
Okay, just these two? Okay.
All right.
So are we nobody's dunking here?
No, is that insane?
Oh, we're dunking.
Are we?
Oh,
I'm going to beat it with no dunk.
All right, yeah, let's see the no dunk here. Okay, so we'll throw 2 minutes on the clock here. All right, we're going to go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Shit. Okay, all right, I'll dunk. I go dunk and I'll squeeze and maybe I'll go to the shoulder like Mickey.
Okay.
I already fucked up.
Got this. Use the fluid.
No. That
Use
one.
the liquid to help you out.
He has no fluid.
I'm so
Don't
done.
do so much. Push it down with water or push it down with another hot dog.
Oh, like a musket.
Yeah. It's just an assembly line.
Yeah.
Treat it like a luggage.
You guys make it look very easy.
It's just like the luggage at the airport on the belt. Just keep shoving shit forward.
If I had someone here to do the Heimlich, I would. Oh shit, I'm dunking. But now I'm like, ooh, the bun feels gross. No, it's going apart.
Warm Crystal Light.
The bun is merely a beverage. Disregard the disgustingness.
Exactly. Okay.
Ruth is about to finish strong.
Oh, he's trying to. He's going 2 meats. Bruce is going 2 meats.
This sucks.
You're good, Brian. You're good.
I'm trying not to do ASMR on the thing.
That's some people's favorite part.
I know, man.
Oh, there you go.
I feel like I'm starting to bounce like I'm Joey.
There you go. Yeah.
There you go.
Does Joey bounce?
Yeah, Joey, or you'll hear like a giant grunt, like brrr, just not like that. But you're good.
Yeah, you just want to bite, swallow, minimize the chewing.
Just drink the bun. No need to chew it.
Oh man. Oh,
Ew.
it's also 8 a.m.
This feels like when my kids learn to walk.
Oh man, I'm so home.
There are 5 to a plate here.
I think so.
I'm trying to see what's going on. There you go. Yeah, just lightly squeeze out some of that fluid.
Oh my
By the
god.
time you have like a few dozen in you, all that liquid adds up.
That's 2
Are we
minutes.
clear?
That's 2 minutes. Brian, what do you got?
Let me just count by what I have left. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I only ate 3.
I got 4. No, I got 3 3/4. I know I beat Brian.
The Bruce is your winner.
There we go.
One of these men ate 3 hot dogs. The other ate 3 3/4 hot dogs.
Yeah.
3 3/4. Prove it.
Yeah, we have to show the camera around the room. Yeah, Brian, we'll each go get our respective girlfriends to go make sure everything is real. Man,
Thank you, guys. God damn it.
No, but it's definitely different when you actually do it.
woo! All right, now you guys do stand-up comedy sets.
Yeah.
Up until now I thought like having to dance in front of people would be
Man.
the worst nightmare or sting. But yeah, stand-up comedy would probably top.
I don't think I would do well with the heckler when I just respond like, "Hey, fuck you, guy."
Yeah. When you start comedy, immediately you go, as soon as somebody even coughs, you're like, "You motherfucker!" And by now, after doing it for like however long, 10 years, it's anyone can do whatever they want. Oh man, this is a beautiful way to start it.
Like Jim Brewer and stuff, how some of them have handled hecklers. Like those are some fun videos to watch on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
And they just eviscerate the hecklers.
Yeah.
Jim Brewer's the greatest comedian on radio ever.
All right, man, this is an incredible way to start a morning, I must say. All right. Well, hey, also, I just want to say these are Nathan's dogs. These are regulation. I don't know what Brian's doing over there. He went out and bought dogs. I told him to make sure they're regulation, but I went full Nathan's and
You texted me that you went bar S.
I said I was going to go bar S, but then I got there and I realized that I was just poor when I was a little kid, and that's why we were eating bar S. I was like, 125 for 8 hot dogs? What the fuck, Mom? Oh my God. Awesome. Thank you guys so much, man. This has been so fun.
Thank you.
I'm going to keep enjoying some dogs. Maybe I'll go get some ketchup. Truly appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. Nick, I'm stoked for the Coney, man. I'm gonna really.
Oh, I should probably go on record by saying this. Even if I'm going into labor that day, I want Nick to be competing.
Yeah, so I'm not.
Yeah.
So there's no question about this. Like, I want Nick to be competing at Nathan's, even if he's not invited to the delivery room until after.
That's a
if that's the case.
Yeah. Get Chestnut to go. Tell Chestnut he's got to be there. He's got to go over there. Maybe he takes a year off.
Yeah, make him the doula.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much, man. I truly appreciate it. Best of luck. Nikki, you're the GOAT. Mickey, you're the GOAT. Nikki, this is it. This year, Chestnut, he's dead. You heard it here first. Chestnut, you're going down.
Well, thank you guys. I appreciate it. I will do my best, and I'll probably touch base before July 4th or something like that. But we appreciate you having us on.
Awesome.
All right.
You guys rock. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Bye. This is being extra whiny.
Yeah.
I had texted you I thought we should maybe